Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas and this is how to create an FPS Battle Horde game in Unity, and welcome to episode 9. In this tutorial we are going to add the ability to collect ammunition, update it on our screen, and we're also going to deal a little bit with tags. Don't forget, click the subscribe button and click on the bell icon as well to stay up to date with every tutorial still to come in this series and everything else on game development on my channel. With that in mind, let's get to work. So collecting ammunition is actually fairly simple. It's a nice simple script. It's all the mechanics behind it which can become a little bit daunting. So we're going to develop this one stage at a time over the next couple of tutorials. So probably by the end of tutorial number 11 we'll have random drops of ammo that we've collected and we've added to our UI. So firstly what we're going to do is we're going to go to our FPS controller. And over here you'll see something called tag, and it currently says untagged. We need to click the drop down menu and click on player. The reason we do this is because we need our player to be the only thing that can collect ammunition drops at this point. And we can use that tag to our advantage when it comes to the C# coding, because we can tell the script that only something called player can pick this object up. So in order to get all of this cycling through properly, we need to create something called a global script. A global script is a way of holding information that any script can feed to it. So for example, that script holds the ammunition number, which can display on our screen, and the ammo collection can also update. Now, there are different ways that you can do this, and we're going to go a very simple way of updating our on-screen UI with our ammunition. But like I say, there are many different ways, and it could change further down the line. But for now, we just need something that will serve its purpose. So I'm going to rename this text over here, which is our ammo count right now. I'm also going to change that to 0. So let's rename and ammo text. So now in our scripts folder, let's create another subfolder and call it globals. Now in here we need to right click, create C# script, global ammo, and let's open that up in Visual Studio. Now everything we're going to do here is going to be much simpler than the last script we wrote. If we remember that handgun script, we had a couple of if statements in there, we had a coroutine, we had some variables. This one's going to be a little bit smaller, but it's actually going to be just as functional. We're going to do one extra thing that we didn't do in our last script, and we're going to add a namespace for UI. You can think of this as the script being able to reference certain UI elements without the need to go overboard with coding. And to do that, we do it at the top. So beneath where we have using Unity Engine, we need to add in using Unity engine.ui semicolon. Next thing we need to do is we need to declare a couple of variables inside the class. So the two variables that we're going to need for now are going to be the ammo count itself and the object to display on our screen. So let's start by saying public int. Remember, that's all lowercase there. You just got to remember your capitalization is vital when coding, because if you get one little thing wrong, it could throw the whole script out. And this is going to be ammo count semicolon. Now, before we go any further with this particular variable has to be a little bit different than everything we've done before now. It needs to be accessed from other scripts, and to do that we can insert the word static between public and int. So public static int ammo count, and what that will do is it will allow any script to reference that variable and alter it as necessary. So for example, when we collect our ammo, we'll be able to add to our ammo count in this script, even though this script is not going to be attached to our ammo box. Next, we need that text on our screen. So public game object ammo text semicolon, and that one doesn't need to be static because that will only ever be referenced inside this script. So now we can get rid of our start method and our annotations because we do not need them. And the way we're going to do this is inside void update, we're going to update our ammo count. Our ammo text with our ammo count. So let's say ammo text dot get component, and I'm quickly going to go back to Unity for a second and click on ammo text. This is the component we need to get. So we need to get the text component, and we also need to edit the text subcomponent, which is right here. So make note of the capitalization. Capital T for text, capital T for text there. However, we do not use the capital T on the subcomponent. So get component in spiky brackets, text, open close bracket, you got your parentheses there, dot text. So we are now editing that subcomponent called text, and currently it says ammo colon 0. So let's have equals, and in quotes, ammo colon space close quote. Now what we can do is after this we can put a plus, and we can also put the variable called ammo count with a semicolon. So this script, although small, is actually very interesting in what it does. So I'm going to save it and then go back to Unity. It's just going to compile. All good. So if I double click on ammo text now, it currently says ammo 0, which is exactly what we have here. However, when we attach this script to our game and when it runs at runtime, that script will update this value with whatever is inside ammo count. So like I said earlier, we can use that to our advantage, and we can change ammo count from a different script. So let's get all of this together now. Let's go to game object, create empty, and this one we will call it globals, and I'm going to place it at the top. So I'm just going to drag and drop above the main camera. I'm going to drag and drop the global ammo script, and then I'm going to drag and drop the ammo text onto there. Now you'll notice this script does indeed have two variables, but only one is appearing here in our inspector panel. Reason being, when we have a static variable such as our ammo count, it will not appear in our inspector panel. There are ways of getting around it, nice little ways that you can create another variable and just make it equal to that static one. It's up to you whether you want to do it or not. Sometimes I like to, so I can see the values change here in the inspector panel, but ultimately it doesn't really matter too much. So if we press play now, it will indeed still say ammo 0. Now, if we change this to say hello, even when we start the game, it will change it to say ammo 0. So we know that script is now live. That script will change whenever we have something to collect. So I'm going to zoom in back to our player, and we're going to create a script now for ammo. So let's go to game object, 3D object, and cube. Why are we using a cube? Sometimes even those primitive of objects is the best to use, simply because, well, it's simplicity, I guess. So this is going to be, at least for now, our ammunition box. So ammo collect. Let's make it a little bit bigger, so let's have that as 2 by 2 by 2. And let's also tick is trigger down here in the box collider. The reason we tick is trigger is because the object itself is going to be a trigger which we enter. Remember I explained earlier about the tag that we use on our first person controller called player? This is where it all comes in useful now. So with that ticked as trigger, we can actually walk through this cube, as you can see. If it wasn't ticked as trigger, we would not be able to walk through it. So you can see. Now I know the weapon has clipped inside the cube itself, but don't worry about that. That is a completely separate issue. But don't worry, we'll get round to that later on in the series when it becomes necessary and obvious that we do need to address some of the little quirks. So make sure we do have that ticked is trigger. Now let's go to our weapons folder inside the scripts, and let's create that script to collect this box as ammunition. So right click, create C# script, ammo collection. And let's open that up in Visual Studio. Now, I am going to future-proof this just a little bit here. So the reason we're going to do what we're going to do here is because of how we're going to drop our ammunition in the next tutorial. So a quick overview is the fact that we can't have physics and a collection on the same object here. But don't worry about that at all. It will become obvious when we get to the next tutorial anyway. So firstly, let's declare a variable. Public game object, and it's going to be simply the ammo crate itself. So ammo crate, semicolon. We can get rid of void start and void update and the annotations because we don't need them. Now this is where our tag comes into play that we did earlier in this tutorial. And we can say void on trigger enter, and it doesn't need to be private, so we can get rid of that. And in our parentheses here, you'll see collider other. Now you can leave this exactly as it is, or you can change this to something more relative. But whatever you change this word to, other, make sure you do remember it for the next line of code. So if you change it to say, I don't know, grey for whatever reason, then make sure you do put the word grey where I put other in this line of code. So if other dot tag equals, that's a double equals, remember, player, then do the following. So open curly bracket. What this means is that if anything else collides or enters this trigger, if it isn't tagged as player, then absolutely nothing will happen. If it is tagged player, then we do the following. And this will be, simply put, we need to access the global ammo script. So here, global ammo dot ammo count plus equals 10 semicolon. So what we're doing is we're adding the value of 10 to our global ammo, which means that when that's updated, it will appear on our bottom screen as ammo 10, which is exactly what we want. So finally, we're going to go one step further with this. Before I carry on with this script, I'm going to go into this particular object here. Now, the way it's going to work is this ammo collect is going to be inside another object, and that other object is going to be the visual version of our ammo crate, which is the one that's going to contain the physics in the next tutorial. And what I'm going to do is right click, 3D object, cube. And if we look, the cube is exactly the same size, and that's all good. So make sure those two cubes are on top of each other. Now uncouple that second cube from ammo collect, and they are now two completely separate objects. However, we do need to make this cube a little smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this as 1.9, 1.9, 1.9. So that second cube that we've just created is now inside that other cube that we created. And I know this may seem a little bit odd at this point, but like I said, don't worry. It will all become ever so clear in the next tutorial as to why this is happening. It's just future proofing. So let's rename this cube and call it ammo drop. And then place the ammo collect object inside ammo drop. So ammo collect is slightly larger than ammo drop. As you can see, if you select that, you can see the outlines there. And obviously the reason is going to be because of physics and collection. So if we go back into here now, we can now say ammo crate dot set active false semicolon and save. So what's happening here is that as soon as we collect this particular object, we are going to add 10 to our ammunition count, and then we are going to set it as inactive. We're going to turn it off so we can't repeatedly pick up the ammo over and over and over and over and over. So let's head back into Unity. Let script compile. And then add that ammo collection script to ammo collect, not ammo drop, ammo collect. And what I might do is actually change it from ammo drop to ammo crate. just to keep everything uniform. So ammo collect now has that script on, and we just need to drag and drop ammo crate over here. And let's save our scene. Let's press play and make sure that all of this comes together quite nicely. So ammo 0. Oh, I know why that's happened, because ammo collect just needs to be probably a little bit bigger, I would think. Let's increase this to 1.1, 1.1, 1.1. So sometimes you may find that the particular object could be a little bit too big, or too small, I should say. And we just need to increase that size. So once you find the sweet spot, you should be able to collect it. No problem. Perfect. So you can see it is completely disappeared now. And like I say, you can always use that to your advantage no matter what. So if you do get that case where it just seems a little bit too, not quite right, you kind of run into it a little bit, all it means is you just need to modify a couple of values here and there. And you can see here, before I end this tutorial, I'll show you a quick way of doing it. So if we uncouple ammo collect, go to ammo crate, and let's reduce that size to 1.8, 1.8, 1.8, and reattach ammo collect inside ammo crate. Press play, and we should be able to collect. There we go. Ammo has been collected and it's disappeared. And you'll notice the 10 also appears right there. Perfect. So where do we go from here? Well, realistically, what we need to do is add some textures onto this, because it's just basically a little cube now. So we're going to add a texture to it. And next tutorial, we're going to add some physics to it so it kind of drops down. And I think we're also going to add a randomization effect to it so it drops randomly rather than the same spot each and every time. So until that next tutorial, thank you very much for watching, guys.